Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Friday the 22nd of September. How you doing? Bit dark here today. I hope you're doing well. Ready to learn? Ready to transform, to grow. And growing because we are going to learn different ways of thinking when it comes to living beyond our comfort zone. Which is always needed. Always, always needed. And it's going to be episode 872. 872 episodes. All for free. You get to keep those. They're all yours. Good evening to you. Great to have you here, Davey. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Are we doing anything good this weekend? It's raining, or it has been. I don't know if it is raining right now, but it's had a bit of rain. But the hummingbirds are out in force. Right now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. At least 9. Now 10. And I can see because it's so dark, I need more natural light in here. But this weekend, I've got a little bit of work, but I need to take it a little bit easy. I need to rest up. I was reflecting this week, but I think May, June, well, let's say June, July, August, September. The last 4 months have been very challenging. Very challenging. With all the things which have gone on in terms of like business and making changes, adaptability, going beyond my comfort zone. So I think I need to relax a little bit this weekend. And now knowing that it's a bit of a darker day, weather-wise, it might be good to have a cozy evening with Mr. C. He is right next to me today. And great to have you here, my friend. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. All the way on your Saturday. Yeah, Mr. C is good. I got back from working out and had a quick play, fed him. And now he's relaxing. But no sun for him today. For either of us. But yeah, we might start early. May finish early. We have a slow chatter in the chat. Although it says we've got like 17 people already. Across all the platforms. Who's not talking? Are you a lurker? Just lurking around in the background? Hiding, but just listening or watching? Which is fine, by the way. Exactly, where is everybody? Probably because it's a Friday, maybe. Maybe we just stop the stream. It's like, oh, let's just have fun. Let's just have fun. We don't need to be here. We just stay in our comfort zone. I'm gonna stay in my comfort zone this evening. I'm gonna get cozy. I'm even gonna get ordered some food in as well. Because I've been pretty good when it comes to eating. So I might just have a nice relaxing evening, watch some football tomorrow and on Sunday, and I've got to plan the week still with the live streams and just do some general stuff. But I'm going to try to do my very best to take it easy this weekend. I cannot be working all the time. I think I put a bit of pressure on myself sometimes. But yeah, where is everybody? But if not, we'll just go ahead and start. We can start early. And my trainer today gave me an idea, so I'll be talking about that in the context of this episode. And also, if you're a subscriber to the app, you got a free bonus session yesterday, a sleep session. So you've got what did you get? Oh no, what? Yeah, one on anxiety, and then this weekend, if in Australia it'd be Sunday, if not, if you're in that side of the world, in other words, if you're a day ahead of me, you get it on Sunday, but everyone else will get it on Saturday, and that'll be the resiliency sleep session. So 2 bonus hypnosis sessions this week. The anxiety and the resiliency, which will go kind of well with this, how to live beyond your comfort zone as well. Hey, welcome back on the stream. Happy Friday to you. We've added our commenters by a third. But it's a slow day in the chat today. Yeah. It is. But that's okay. We'll go ahead and get started. We've doubled our chats now. Great to have you here. All the way from London. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well. This was my thinking. Because I'd still edit the episode, get it all set up on the podcast, the secret subscriber feed, and on top of that, YouTube. So I'll do it about an hour into that after this stream. So maybe I'll stop today at 5. I might stop working at 5 today. All the way from New Jersey. Welcome. I went to a wedding in New Jersey. And then from there, I took a day trip to Pennsylvania. It's nice and green. I like that. It reminded me of England. Hey, welcome back. Happy Friday to you. Do I have help or do I do everything myself? Good question. So I have an assistant who does a lot of the socials and the emails and assignment work for my program, but I do those as well. I tend to do the editing, and I should outsource that, but I just like to get it done. I'm pretty much like, I want to get it done and get it done and dusted. But within my ecosphere, my program, I've also got my father, who's an amazing coach who is more experienced than me. He actually helped get me into this. And then when it comes to the app development, there's no way I can do that coding. So I actually have an app development team who I pay to carry out all the tasks. So whether it be updates, new features and things like that. So between me, Sarah, it's a cool story about Sarah. She actually brought my book and went to my seminar in Cambridge. She lived down the road. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do, or what the help that I get. I think I shall. Yes. You remember. Not a big fan. S'mores, I'll take it. Yes, leave that review. That'll be ever so kind. That really helps support. That's the help that we need. If you urgently want, I'd probably just be risky and go with Fiverr. Can you get some good designers on there? I've got a friend who's a graphic designer, but he works for like a show which has over like 1.5 million subscribers on YouTube, does all their artwork, but I think he's too tied up. I can reach out to him, but other than that, I don't know any other graphic designers who I trust, if that makes sense. But yeah, I'd just go for something like Fiverr if you want something quick. Yeah. I mean, although it says, oh, that's Fiverr, so $5, but if you get the good ones, they'll say, yeah, the lowest is $5, but if you give me 200, 500, or whatever it is, depending how important it is, or how professional, right? What's the return going to be? Like the Grim, who's actually streaming as well at the moment, I think. He helped design some of my app stuff. Yeah, I do my thumbnails in Canva. So I do those on Sundays. So much easier than using like, when I used to try to use like Photoshop and things like that. But that was a long time ago. Yeah, it's a bit of a hit or a miss. It can be a little bit. You just go by all the reviews. That's what I do. That's why reviews are so important, right? Because people look at those. I do it for Amazon all the time. If I were to look at Fiverr, absolutely. Because I was looking into hiring someone to create stories. To write stories for me. Because that means I can record them. And I've had quite a few Fiverr jobs, which have been pretty good. But go by the reviews, I think, if you want to be a bit cleaner with it. Yeah, I knew what you meant. Oh, I knew what you meant. That's why I reworded it as I said it. I do my best. I was thinking of that, yeah, because I'm not a writer like that, so I was thinking of hiring someone to write stories and kind of keep them writing for me. I thought it'd be a cool idea, but just one of the ideas I have that I haven't got time to complete yet, when I'm meant to be not slowing down, but having more balance and harmony. But we'll leave that for now. But as we said, yeah, I like the idea of it. I like the idea of that. So I want to get back into recording. Well, not that I haven't. I've been doing lots of custom tracks for people. But I want to do some good writing. I want to do some good tracks. I was reading your comment. So, yes. That's why I kind of create myself a little bit of harmony. Because sometimes you can't have balance, but you want harmony, right? It gives you a bit more adaptability. So if you're starting a new business, you want to get out of balance in a way, put more attention elsewhere, but still have harmony in other areas of your life. So you, making sure you still look after yourself, make sure you still spend quality time if you have a family and things, or at least kind of say, look, this is what's happening for this short period of time, and then we'll get back into more harmony to repay it. So yeah, I like the word harmony. Because if everything's balanced, you could kind of go, well, I'm just going to do 7 out of 10s. But sometimes we need to do a 12 out of 10 and decrease the points on the other temporarily to do so. That's what I like to think of anyway. But I'm sure we can see balance that way. But I like the word harmony. Well, the commercials for this ad? This commercial for this stream? Yeah, we set those up because it supports the show. It literally gives me probably like, I think we looked once, it's like 3 cents per live stream. Yeah, I tend to be like that as well. I like focusing on the one thing which gets the everything. I try to diversify as well, but I'm very much I don't want to be spinning lots of plates. I like to just go, let's go all in doing this, get that done, and then go to the next one. So that's where we kind of need to be conscious of that harmony when it happens. But let's get on with the show. Let's get to it today. Well, we're almost time anyway. We're almost time. Episode 872. Let's get to it. Oh, let's turn down. Oh. Keep this music? Why not? It's a Friday. It's a Friday. Ready? Steady. Let's. Oh, I need to do one thing. One thing quickly. One thing quickly. There we go. You're here. Oh, I was speaking to you, but obviously you were on the ads. I was just saying the little ads kind of help support the show. Live stream only does like a few cents per, even though we kind of stream for like an hour and 15. But every little helps, right? Every little helps. So let's get to it. Now you're here anyway, right? This episode. Oh, and Linda is here as well. There we go. Now we can start. Episode 872. Well, let's just reset the music. Let's change the music as well. Ready, steady, let's go. Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Joseph Clough, and this is episode 872. Now, in today's episode, we're talking about how to live beyond your comfort zone. But before we get into that, if you are a subscriber to the app, we are releasing like these sleep bonus hypnosis sessions every single week. In fact, just by the time this comes out on the episode, on the podcast, on the app, we sometimes do like 2 per week. So we've just released a sleep session for resiliency, one for anxiety. So you go to sleep and wake up transformed. So go ahead to go to freehypnosis.app instead. I think you can actually go to josephclough.info/app, but go to freehypnosis.app and you can download the app. You get free access to everything for 7 days, and then you get to choose if you want to be able to have all the 4-hour sleep sessions, all the day and night sessions, all the custom creations of tracks, the playlist, all the things. In other words, the morning meditations, audio programs, all of those things you get to have at a very small monthly fee, or a huge, I think it's a 50% discount if you go on a yearly level. So we try to give you more value in every way. So go ahead and become a subscriber to the app, and that means you get to make deeper and bigger changes in every single way at freehypnosis.app. But going back into today's episode, we are talking about how to live beyond your comfort zone. Now, I've told you this analogy before. Actually, let me backtrack. The problem with not living beyond your comfort zone is you become stale. You live in this kind of no man's land. You just don't push yourself, and it becomes this repetitive cycle where you just don't begin to live. You kind of sedate yourself a little bit more. You don't go for your goals and your dreams, maybe because that has a level of fear to them, or worries or doubts or limiting beliefs. And the more you stay in that zone of comfort, it actually creates discomfort. That's one of the key things we need to get our mind around, because we say it's the comfort zone, but it's a very uncomfortable place to be. Because on the one side, you want to go, I want to live the life of my dreams. I want either the abundance, I want the career, I want the relationship, I want the health, I want the experiences of all my goals and dreams to come into fruition. But if we don't live there, and we have that conflict, in other words, we're not quite living up to our so-called potential or our desires, it makes the comfort zone very uncomfortable. We feel stale. We actually start to get depressed, because the more we're there, the more anxious and worried we get, because we're in this hesitation mode. The desire is still there, but the more you prolong, you get into that procrastination and that hesitation. So that is why it is really important to go into this subject. So that's the importance. Now let's kind of consider some of these analogies, and I'm going to give you two. One from myself, which I've said before, and funny enough, it kind of was synchronicity. I was talking to my trainer today, and he even went on the whiteboard and kind of wrote out this little kind of diagram. So I'm excited to dive into that. So thank you, Rich, for enlightening me, showing me a different way of seeing this, if you're listening to this. So number one, my analogy is this. When you have a goal and a dream, and it's way beyond what you think is either possible, or it stretches you so much that you have fear, scarcity, worry, and self-doubt, you will start to self-sabotage any way of actually getting there, because it's too big, it's too hard, it's too challenging. So that doubt kicks in, and you'll just self-sabotage yourself. And I'm not even just saying consciously. I mean, you could do the conscious self-sabotaging, but I'm really talking about the big one, which is the unconscious self-sabotaging, because it will get in your way. It will trip you up because it thinks it's too scary to achieve what you would like to achieve beyond your comfort zone. And I think we've all been there many, many times. Like, I remember when I first went to Thailand by myself, and I went a second time by myself as well, but it was a very scary prospect to go to a different culture, to travel by myself, to be able to go way away from my family and all those things. It was a very scary prospect, but to me, I tend to take risks. That is what I've tried to do, because I used to play it always safe. So one of the things I started to do was to start to apply these principles I'm going to speak to you about today. But I promise you, the first 18 years of my life, I played it small. in my comfort zone, in the fear, the worry, the doubt of what could happen. But if we go back to the analogy, if you have crazy big fear, worries, and doubts about achieving that goal, which causes self-sabotage, and you may have heard me say this before, and if you have, good, because it's good to be reminded, but if you're new to this, it's really important as well. I want you to imagine that the goal or the outcome that you desire, that you've been playing small in your comfort zone, is now turned and transformed into this massive hot tub. Okay, a hot tub which is crazy hot. It is so hot that if you were to go into that hot tub, it would feel so overwhelming because of its size and the heat of it. You'd be like, oh, I can't even put my toe in that. It's just way too hot. That is the big goal and the outcome. Because right now you're in your comfort zone, in let's say a hot tub of your preference. It's kind of small, it's just like the right temperature, it's cozy here, it's comfortable here. So it's very hard in this analogy to jump from where you are in this comfort temperature and this size to go way over there to be able to get to where you want to be. So what we tend to want to do is, in our mind, consider constructing these intermediate hot tubs, where the one where you're right now is just, you create this new one which is a little bit bigger and a little bit warmer. Then the next one is a little bit bigger than that one and a little bit warmer. The next one's a little bit bigger than that one, but a little bit warmer. And there might be like 3, 4, 5, 6 between these 2 points of where you are and where you want to be in that big goal and dream of that hot tub. And suddenly, as you move from something a little bit bigger, a little bit warmer, you get accustomed to it. You think, this is not too bad. It's not too much hotter than where I was. And then you get comfortable in that one. That's now your comfort zone. It's warmer, it's a little bit bigger, but you're comfortable. Then you go to the next one. It's a bit out of your comfort zone, but it's more tolerable. It's a little bit warmer, it's a little bit bigger, and it's okay. You get used to that comfort zone. You're always like expanding your comfort zone by these small little steps until you get to that big one and you're like, that's not so bad anyway, because now I've had the training, the exposure to these different levels which allow me to get better. So how that applies into your life is about thinking of intermediate steps that you could do that don't make you want to self-sabotage, don't make you want to have fear and worry, but just enough to challenge you, right? It just gives you a little bit of a challenge. You see, before I went away to Thailand, I was doing other things to get out of my comfort zone. Like, I remember in one of my programs, I used to teach this for people who were very unconfident. I'd get them to do tasks, very simple tasks, which are easy but pushes them. So this person doesn't lack, or does lack confidence, so I would get them to go ahead and ask someone for the time, right? Someone in the street. Now, it's a little bit nervous to do something like that for the person, but it's not extreme. It's not like you're introducing yourself. It's not like you're trying to sell yourself. It's just a simple, normalized action, but still pushes you. So if you can think of these ways that will allow you to just go that bit more with the challenge, and they can also be parallel. And what I mean by parallel is it doesn't have to be in relation to a goal or a dream, or in a certain context. Because if you start to expand your comfort zone where you're a little bit more comfortable in a different context or a different area, you're still expanding your comfort zone. Don't think it's just gonna be in this one thing. You can just go and do a vertical, which is easier, but you've still grown the radius of your comfort zone. So that kind of tricks our mind and gets our unconscious mind to go, hey, we can actually grow over here. But sneakily, at a conscious level, we're expanding the unconscious mind's total comfort zone. And therefore, when you think of that big goal and dream, it's going to be less hard because you've gained more evidence in a different area of your life. Now, going to the analogy, and I want you to try this on as an example, like what would you say? So my trainer, we were having a conversation. He said, look, come over here, and there's a whiteboard. And he almost pretty much said there's like 3 targets. Let's say we're doing archery, okay? We're doing archery and there's 3 targets. Now, the first one is maybe you've got like 20 seconds to be able to hit 5 shots. And let's just say, because you've got a big amount of time, the 20 seconds, you get a real good shot right in the middle. Now, let's say the second one is, say, 10 seconds a time, and therefore you get like quite a good few shots, but maybe 1 kind of strays, maybe 2 maybe. And then on the third archery kind of circle, you only get like 6-7 seconds. Now, this one doesn't really hit at all. Maybe once, because of the short time period, there's a lot of pressure on us to be able to release the arrow to be able to hit the target. So if you think about where you should be living in those 3 scenarios, the one where you got plenty of time and you're hitting the target every time, the one which is a little bit less in time, where you miss maybe 1, but it pushes you, or the one which is just short amount of time and you rarely get a hit. Which one would you go for? Now, intuitively, because I was answering the question here, intuitively, and the way my brain works, I was like, I want to go for the first one because I want to get results every single time. I like consistency. I like to be able to get the result every single time. So intuitively, you may have gone for that one. You may not have, but that's what I personally chose. And then as we were discussing it, it came to my attention was actually I'm focusing on the wrong place. I want to be focusing on the middle one. The one where I don't get all the hits, maybe I get 90% of the hits, but 1 arrow strays. And the reason being is because the time is less, it is pushing me, but it's also allowing me to get success along the way, because the third one, with that 6-7 second window of firing off those arrows, I just randomly got one and all the others missed. Like, you don't want to go all the way that level of pushing yourself because you're going to feel like a failure when you don't get it because you're putting way too much pressure. But also on the first one, you've got no pressure, you've got plenty of time, and that's not the best place to live as well. So if you intuitively went for those, I would like you to just kind of recap and go, well, how can I live my life like the middle one? A little bit shorter a time, maybe you miss one, but you're still getting success. And the reason why I say that is because you want to gain evidence. You want to gain evidence that you are succeeding. Because if you're failing all the time, it just reaffirms why you should stay in your comfort zone. If you're winning all the time, like because you're playing it small and easy and comfortable, you become complacent and you don't really get anywhere. It's just too slow. It's too easy. But if you start to just push yourself, like I said in my first example of the hot tub or the verticals in different areas of your life, you will have to expand on your comfort zone. You will have to grow. So you don't want to do it in big leaps, because remember, success is not from the big leaps, it's the small leaps which makes the perception of a big leap. We see these overnight successes and we think, oh my goodness, how could I possibly ever do that? Well, you don't see the quiet work. You don't see what they don't show you. Many overnight successes took many hundreds of hours of dedication, of enhancing and adapting and being ultimately resilient in adaptability to be able to get there. So don't fall in for the overnight success. Think about how you can push yourself that bit more, not to a level that you get scared or you fail too much, but just that bit more. And when you do, you will absolutely go beyond your comfort zone. Now, the other thing that I really like to do is I like to surround myself with people who have done what I want to do, or people, like another vertical here, is to find people who inspire me. So they might not have my goal and dream, but they're still taking certain actions that are growing, that are moving forward. So that means I'm always surrounded by these people. And that just rubs off, right? Like, you want to be standing on the shoulders of giants. You want to be able to see examples of what can be done, even if it's a different context. Like, if I saw someone, let's say I want to get really good at archery. I don't know any good archers. Well, I may want to look another athlete who's pushing the boundary, who's getting more results, because it might be a different technique, but the strategy of that discipline or that commitment or the time involved or whatever that gap may be within me, so I have a gap of lack of knowledge, well, I can do that vertical, different context, but same types of strategy that I can grow from. So that's another level. Try to surround yourself who inspire you, who push you, because there's a level of accountability with that as well. One problem we really have is a lack of accountability. Have you ever said, well, I'll just do it tomorrow? I'll be okay next week. I'm just going to put it off. That goal and dream will still be there. Well, yeah, it will, but tomorrow is always going to be tomorrow, because today is always today. Next week is always going to be next week, no matter where you are. Next year is always next year. Like, wherever you are, time always expands if you have language patterns like that. So when you start to surround yourself with people who inspire you, who are better than you, who have the process already, then suddenly they've expanded that comfort zone. It is a phrase, and the name will come back to me. I think it's called Kovchesky. I cannot remember specifically, but it's pretty much like the map is not the territory. And what that means is we have our map of what we think is possible. So that's our personal map, but the territory is so much bigger and more expansive than we can imagine, but we just live on our own map. But if you start to see people who are operating in a different way, who you surround yourself with, it expands your map of the world of what is possible. The other thing you may want to consider is being more stoic. Like, if you think of that big goal and dream that you want, but you think about the hurdles in the way of what could happen, all the what could happens, in other words, and then be at peace with them. Like, go, even though I might trip up, I'm going to be at peace with that, because that goal and dream is worth it. Even though I might get rejected. I was speaking to someone this week, and ultimately, the way that you succeed in sales or in business is you will get so-called failures, you will get so-called rejections, you'll get these no's along the way. When they go, no, I don't want that service. Well, that's part and parcel of life. It's not all gonna go smoothly. So every no gets you closer to the yes. Every so-called failure, and I say so-called because I don't really believe in it until we decide upon it, if we learn from it, we can only refine ourselves and our actions because of it. Like, that's when you start to learn and walk. Sometimes I'm a bit hesitant when you get like this 100% success record, like 20 times in a row, and then it's one time it doesn't work, and you're like, I can't understand that. Like, I've done all these other successes. Sometimes it's good to be able to lean into those early on to learn and grow and get better. Ask yourself, how can I get better? What is the worst case scenario? What if it does happen? I'm okay with it, because the goal and dream is worth the so-called mistakes and failures and all those things along the way. After all, everyone's gonna have some tumbles along the way. I have in business where people have ripped me off. I've had people steal money from me. I've had people attack my servers. People have said things about the way I look or the way I sound. Like, if I would like just take that on as truth and go, well, that must mean I shouldn't go for my goals and dreams because this happened and I might get hacked or this may happen, then you're never going to get anywhere. Be at peace. Along the way, there's going to be troubles. And one of the things when I got hacked in May, and it cost multiple thousands of dollars, was that my reframe was, well, it's better to happen now so I can learn from it, so when my business is bigger, it won't disappoint more people. Like, if you can imagine, I don't know how many users with analytics there, but let's just say I had 100,000. Well, I have about 150,000 downloads on the podcast a month. Suddenly, that's not very good news, right? For the 150,000, not necessarily people, but the views. But imagine if I had 2 million a month. That's going to create so much more angst and pressure because I'm going to feel bad for all those views and all those people. So it's better for me to get out the pain straight away, or early up on, and it's not even early, but like compared to what could happen, right? You want to be able to realize that these things, these stumbling blocks, are there to refine you, right? So embrace it. Be more stoic. Go, look, I'm not going to welcome problems, but when they're here, I'm going to learn from them. I'm going to grow from them. I'm going to allow myself to be able to do what has to be done. The other thing I want you to be very consciously aware of is just to be reflective on the self-sabotage. Is it because you don't believe in yourself? Now, if that is the case, if you have any lack of self-esteem or limiting belief about yourself when it comes to living in your comfort zone, which most probably is the case because it's our inability or our perception of our ability and inability to live beyond our comfort zone. We think we cannot handle it, right? So if that is the case, I will do my very best to isolate the limiting belief and do whatever it takes to let that go. You see, when you let that go, suddenly it has to expand your comfort zone. Because if you could imagine like a horse with blinkers on, they can only see straight ahead of them. That is what a limiting belief does. It limits your perception of what is possible. But suddenly, if you let go of that limiting belief, if you take off the blinkers, you see so much more possibility because you're not deleting information, you're not distorting based on belief systems, you're not generalizing that this always happens to me. You suddenly generalize in a good way that I'm worthy of this goal. Of course I'm good enough. I'm going to do the work. And then the last thing that we'll probably talk about is you got to take action. Like, you can't just think your way there. I'm a real big believer on thought, the power of thought, intention. I'm a huge believer, and I talk about it all the time. But in the same notion, you need to have the equal measure of action. So you have to have, like, ideally as much as possible, like a 10 out of 10 positive thinking, but a 10 out of 10 action. Because when you marry those together, you begin to assume that feeling of having achieved your goal, like the Neville Goddard quote, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and act upon it with conviction. When you assume the feeling and the mindset of how you want to be, what you want to be doing, and then start to act upon it, you become unconsciously and consciously and something greater than you aligned. Whatever that greater than you is entirely up to you. So those are some of my thoughts about living and expanding beyond your comfort zone. Should probably do a hypnosis track on this, right? How to live beyond your comfort zone. So if you have any recommendations, go to joseph.info/ABC if you want to put a recommendation, because it might escape my merit, but I'll do my best right here. Don't try. That means failure. I will remember that one. But feel free to have suggestions there for hypnosis sessions at josephclough.info/ABC. So that's what I'd be thinking about, though, in general, about living beyond my comfort zone. The small steps, the quiet work, resolving the limiting beliefs, surrounding myself where I see examples of what can be done, doing the things which push me but don't hold me up. Don't kind of trip me up. Be more stoic about it. Be at peace with those downfalls, because if you learn from them, you grow because of them. I think there was one more, so I'll see if that pops out into my mind. But even if it doesn't, what I would be thinking about is thinking about your goals and dreams. Think about all the reasons why it's important. Reflect upon them, meditate upon them, have them in your mind, because that's going to be the instigator. Think about all the reasons why it's important to get that goal and dream, and therefore live beyond your comfort zone, because it is leverage at an unconscious level. Your unconscious mind most probably cannot see the reasons why you want what you want. It might have an idea that you want that, but it's not compared to the reasons for staying the same. Because I might get hurt, this might happen, I might get cheated on, I might lose money, I might fill in the blank. But if you can counteract that and even over deliver on all the reasons, those start to filter through to your unconscious mind to go, yeah, even though this could happen, look at all the greatness of what could happen. And when you start to live that way, you'll start to be more powerful, more self-certain, to do what has to be done and make the life that you want. And I believe you've got that. So once again, let's live beyond our comfort zone, because I'm excited to find out what's on the other side. Every time I do, like since I've been more of a risk taker, yeah, I've had some fails, yeah, some bad things have happened, but on the whole, it has allowed me to do what I'm doing today. And I like to think, I'm not going to say I am, but I'd like to think it's allowed me to grow and help more people because of it. So with that, my friends, I look forward to speaking to you on a future episode. Many thanks and goodbye. And there we go. I didn't even see my chair in the corner there. Mr. C was on it and jumped off it, and it must have spun. Hey Michelle, great to have you here. I did see you come through, if you're still here as well. That's the one, Alfred Korbisky. I think I got it right. Did I say, I said Korbisky, I think, or Korbisky? That was close enough. I was just telling someone yesterday, but I open my heart easily due to past. I don't open my heart easily. Yeah. It is hard. And that's where we learn. We got to learn through that, because it's about, for example, trusting the right person. To open your heart, it's important to trust the right person. So you look at the data points, the data of what were the qualities of the person, even in retrospect, which when you look back retrospectively, you're going to go, well, that was a red flag, right? That was something. If you start to find those data points, you'll start to learn from them and refine for them. And then you'll start to look for the right person. It's like having this sensory awareness. You're being sensory aware of the past, of what happened, to learn from them, and therefore you trust the right person. And that takes time. It's not like we do it, oh, they're the right person straight away. It takes time in general, right, to build trust with someone. But once you also have learnings will protect you. Learnings keep you safe, right? Learnings will do that. Emotions do not do that, right? They can temporarily, like fear does, but that prolonged amount of fear does not. But if you learn, the emotion disappears, but also the learnings will be there for you in the future. So that's a way of doing just that. Hey, Lindsay, great to have you here. The obstacle is the way. Yeah, we learn and grow from the challenge, right? That's what we do. Timely content for me this week. I stretched comfort zone with a 20-minute TED Talk style talk that was live streamed to my Facebook mastermind group. That's awesome. That's great, 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 great. That's what we're after. We want to just do those things. I mean, everything was scary once. Going to school, maybe. Learning to walk, driving a car. My first ever podcast. First ever live stream. And I think on my first live stream, because it was way back then when all the algorithms were different on Facebook, because I had like 15, 20,000 people on there, and they didn't block all those algorithms back then. But I had like 400, 500 people on my live stream. And I was like, my first live stream. I was like, oh my goodness. But you start. My first video was terrible. But you do it anyway and keep learning and refining. Everything great that you've probably succeeded in, you were probably pretty bad in the beginning. And if it's meaningful to you, the chances are you're going to have some form of anxiety and fear. It's part of the process. I hated learning to drive. Like, literally hated learning to drive. It was so scary. I dreaded every moment of it. But after a while, you get used to it. Now it's just me personally. Some people are like, that's easy. But for me, it was, whew. Exactly. That's why we're here. Adaptability. The law of requisite variety. The personal assistant with the most adaptability controls the system. Yeah. You are most welcome. That's living in no man's land. Hopefully that was a good thing. The sleep session of that one, the actual sleep one, will be out on the app on Thursday. A week yesterday it'll be out. You are most welcome. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's a process. Yeah, would I say fail forward? Don't fail backwards. Fail forward. Fail forward. Yeah. They're tricky little things sometimes. So there we go. It is a Friday. We said we may finish early, and this time we may be living up to that rather going the other way around. I'm not sure how long the podcast episode was though. I don't know if it was shorter, 15-20 minutes maybe. Exactly. Like going on a road trip. Listening to, like, I still do when I've driven, like, listening to an awesome podcast on a road trip would be really good. Do you know what other people can be anxious about as well, which makes them kind of sometimes they get so in their comfort zone they don't do an app review. I don't know why. Because when you go to the app, oh, my stomach's rumbling. Don't know if you heard that right then. Scary business thinking about it. But when you go to the app and just tap the button, say a few words and submit, suddenly all self-sabotage disappears. It's like, oh, that wasn't so hard. So for anyone out there who's kind of hesitate about doing a review on the app, it might be a good growth experience. It might actually cause you, I'm not saying this to be true now, but it may cause you to go on this wonderful journey of change, of evolving out of your comfort zone by the very nature of just getting through that first app review of the hypnosis session, or hypnosis app of mine, by the way, not someone else's. Those other app reviews, they're easy to do, but my one, I think you might be so surprised of all the possibilities of greatness that will happen in the very action. I mean, you might even feel it now, right? You might feel that urge and building up to go, actually, I'm curious to what's on the other side of pressing submit to that app review. Like, I wonder how curious I can be. All the good things. But if I just did that, I don't know, I'm curious are you curious to find out? Are you curious to kind of go, I'm kind of interested now? Oh, and then I go, what if one of my words that I say on the app review inspires someone and they get out of anxiety and depression and therefore helps their family and their children Wow. I'm curious now. I might even review my own app. I may well do. Exactly. No, just general conversation. That's all it was. I was just thinking in my mind how good it will feel. That's all. Like, that's just how I played it. I mean, if you tried that on with me on that journey, then that's on you. I wouldn't seed anything. I wouldn't do any hypnotic embedded commands. Like, I would never say how good it will feel having submitted that review now. I would never suggest. I would never suggest you do that. I would never suggest you do that. Because you get to choose to do that and feel good in the choice. I mean, haven't you already got that bit of a feeling, curious to find out what's next? Anyway, just curious, if you listen to a hypnosis that you don't need, can it cause harm or will it have no effect at all? I don't think it will have any effect. You'll be, one, dismissing. Two, it may just enhance. But if you didn't need it already, you had it already, so it might just reaffirm. So I think we're good. I think we're good. See, I didn't say this either. This is from someone who's left a review. So look, don't take my evidence. This is someone who's been there, who's been on the other side of reviewing the app. Think about that. That's not even me saying that. Someone else's now. No, it wasn't. It wasn't full of embedded commands. So, but I'd never suggest doing all of those things. I'm not that kind of hypnotist. I mean, if I were to, I might have a training. I have good trainings to do what I do, but also I have this little kind of secret one that teaches people the covert stuff. The mean. No, I don't. I don't even do trainings really at the moment. I've done 2 this year, but all the good ones. There we go. Because you know how good it made you feel. Okay, we kind of went to the hour mark. We good. We didn't stop too soon. But it's great to have you all here. Thank you for stopping by. Feel free to hit the thumbs up if you haven't done so already. Because that might make you feel good. Who knows? That kind of, interesting. And I wish you the very best of the weekends, wherever your Friday night or your Saturday already. And I'm going to do my very best to relax as much as possible, get a bit more of that harmony. And I want a bit of reflection this weekend. I am generally curious about doing some reflection of my goals and focuses. And then we'll see what happens from there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I look forward to speaking to you on Monday if you're here, and on Wednesday if you're here, and on Friday if you're here too. You are most welcome. I would do my very best. That is, I'm kind of pleased that it's raining and gloomy, because it kind of makes you want to go cozy. Makes you want to kind of just relax a little bit. So I'm going to do that. After I've done the edit on the YouTube, edit on my movie program, and then upload that to YouTube, then do the edit for the audio version, and then put that out into 2 different places. After I've done those things, I plan to stop, which will give me a good hour if I stop right now. That means I might finish by 5. So you have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much. I'll speak to you all soon. Many thanks and goodbye.